launch the
Correct.
business, right?
As you know, owning your own company is going to bed terrified every night and waking up petrified.
Exactly. Oh, that's so true. So let's go there for a minute. Were there specific moments where you sensed that disruption or sensed a break to your momentum? And what were those signals or what were those moments? And what did you do during them?
Yeah, I think moments plural is key,
Yeah.
right? Like I think that we've all I don't think you've been in business very long or you're not very cognizant of what you've experienced if there aren't moments plural, right? Because there are a lot of ditches and a lot of hurdles. And so when I was thinking about that topic, three examples, three moments come to mind. One is more like running into a wall, right? Like where it's financial, strategic, operational challenges that are existential. And two were more, there are doors to go through if I choose.
Hmm.
And so the more existential running into the wall was in 2017. We call it the Troubles at Irish Titan because we had grown really quickly and we had outgrown our tooling, our processes. We were technologically homogenous because we were dedicated to Magento as our only e-commerce platform that we were working with. So we were sort of subject to how well they did or didn't do.
Yeah.
And so that introduced some risk to us, even though by and large they were a good platform. So 2017 was a year that we had a lot of problems, hence the troubles.
Yeah.
We had clients that were unhappy, and we were shedding some clients. We had projects that were really challenged, that were over budget, past schedule, internal issues with executing what we'd committed to. We were experiencing turnover, which I think is a little bit different than attrition. Attrition is a little bit more organic, natural departures after a
Yeah.
certain season runs for somebody.
Yeah. Inhaling and exhaling,
Yep,
part of the
it
business. Yeah.
happens, right?
Yep.
Whereas turnover, I think, is caused by internal issues that as owners, operators, leaders, we want to try to minimize, if not eliminate,
Yeah.
so that people only leave for organic, natural reasons.
Yeah.
In 2017, we were experiencing a lot of challenges,
Mm.
and so those signals were very apparent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting. You gather, we work as entrepreneurs and business owners so hard at generating momentum, and it can take months and or years to get the engine to the speed you want,
right,
but it can stop in an instant.
correct.
And sometimes the biggest disruption is right within the middle of that momentum, which is the troubles you speak about, right?
Yep.
You've created amazing momentum. Now all of a sudden, you probably should peel back. You don't want to slow the business, but you want to slow the thinking enough so you can address some of those things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that we were growing so quickly, and I was personally running downhill so quickly. Because running uphill is one thing, right? That's when you're kind of in the grind trying to get it going,
Yeah.
right? Then once you have some momentum and you're running either level or downhill, you can still trip
Yeah.
and fall forward,
Great
which
analogy.
sometimes is actually more painful than falling when you're going uphill.
True.
And that's what was happening to us. And ultimately, I bear all the responsibility because at the end of the day, it's my company, and I'm in charge of hiring the right kind of people and leading them the right way and
Yeah.
protecting them and managing clients if they're being difficult, et cetera.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were running downhill and having all those problems that I think I hadn't taken stock of and anticipated because I was running downhill too fast and looking too far ahead and planning not necessarily too big, but managing to time blocks that were too long term and not near term.
What did you do?
Um, well, I was sort of forced to because we were in a rough spot. Um, like I said, we had clients that weren't happy. We had projects that weren't being executed. And by that point, which is a long time ago now, but by that point, we already had a reputation and I had networks in the cities. And I don't take that for granted, right? Because
Yeah,
that
for
takes
sure.
years. It can change like that too.
Yep.
And so to some degree, the ships had been burnt on the shore and I didn't have a choice but to figure out, okay, how do we fix this? And what I really started to do was manage to different time blocks, which I alluded to just a second ago, because I'd been thinking 6 months and a year out and trying to manage toward that. And I'd started to build a management team that I don't think I had set up for success. And so I started to worry less about 6 months and a year out and manage more to this week. And on good days during the troubles to this month. I would support the management team more hands-on. I was more involved in projects, not trying to imply that I put my cape on and jumped in as a superhero, but
Yeah.
I had to get in there more to help them
Yeah.
and support them and defend them sometimes against clients. So I think that the priority was really to focus on the here and now to some degree. I heard an analogy once that sometimes it's not about saving your house from being on fire, it's about saving the houses next to yours from being on fire.
That's good.
And there was some of that going on. Like there were certain projects I knew that we're not going to be able to fix this one. We're going to have to sacrifice this one. I'll have to figure out how to exit it gracefully
Yeah.
and fairly, and then try to save those other projects, those houses next door.
Yeah.